Hey everyone, it is Shannon and I am here today to do a tag video, and this is a film tag and it is the remake versus original tag. I found this over at Casher One's channel. I'll leave a link up above to Casher One's video for this. And I think this is a really cool idea. It was originally created by Movie Time Review. Unfortunately, the original video is no longer available, but I did happen to get the questions, or in this case, the list of films, and how it works is you go through each of the films and pick whether you are going to pick the original or the remake. So let's get this party started. I did not look at the list of films beyond copying and pasting them, and so I hope this will probably be more of a quick fire, rapid fire response video, and let's get this party started. So the first one is Amityville Horror 1979 versus 2005. I'm gonna go with the original on this, and in part, but I think it also would be the case regardless, I haven't actually seen the remake. But I did recently, in the past 5 years, finally watch the original, and it was scary. It was scary. Question number 2. Black Christmas, 1974 versus 2006. Definitely the original. Although, again, I haven't seen the remake for this one, but the original is Canadian, and I'm always going to pick Canadian. I can be subjective, mostly. Maybe not. Can I be subjective of a Canadian film? I have a really, and I'm not lying here, I have a really deep-rooted love for Canadian film, and that is one of the original. I think it is considered the original slasher movie, so of course I'm going to go with that. And I actually watched it for my first 31 days of horror. I watched Black Christmas for the first time. Number 3, Dawn of the Dead, 1978 versus 2004. Veto. I don't think I've seen either. I guess those go on lists for future 31 Days of Horror. I might have seen the 2004 one, but I don't think so. I don't think I've seen either the Dawn of the Dead. I can see the poster with the horizon and the eyes and the head. I think that's it. But I've seen a lot of film posters in my day. Number 4, Evil Dead, 1981 versus 2013. Did I see the Redux? I'm not sure. I am actually in the vast minority of not enjoying the Evil Dead films. So I don't think I watched the remake. So I would have to go with the original because it's the only one that I've seen. Just get started. Oh, this one's good. Number 5, The Fog, 1980 versus 2005. Okay, 2005, there were a lot of remakes. I think that's when the remake started, right? So the original Fog is one of the best movies, the best horror movies. So much tension. I really, really love that one. I am not as harsh as some other people on the 2005 version of The Fog. It is not great. I'm not gonna lie, it is not great, but I do enjoy it. I not so much as a horror movie. I more enjoy it as a drama, which is, I don't know what that says, but the original The Fog. If you're only gonna have like 20 or 25 horror films, you should have that one. I should have that one. I don't have that one. I'm like, actually, how many horror films would be a baseline? I think you would probably need more like 40 to 50. Yeah, there's a lot of them. Okay, number 6, Friday the 13th. 1980s part 1 through 3 versus the 2009. I guess that means the 2009 version was kind of like part 1, part 2, part 3. I missed that, actually. The original Friday the 13th, I actually really disliked the 2009 version of Friday the 13th, even though I do love Jared Padalecki because I am a huge Supernatural fan, but I really didn't like that one. And actually, it was good for me to go to see that and not like it because it made me realize that I don't like slasher movies that much. I like some of the classics, of course, including the 1980 Friday the 13th, because I do find that one scary, like when it gets scary, and it was a good story. But yeah, it was helpful for me to realize that slasher films are not one of the types of horror movies that I like. I like lots of other different subgenres of horror, but slasher is very, very low on my priority list. So I got something from it, even though I didn't enjoy it. Number 7, Fright Night, 1985 versus 2001. Okay, we have a zinger here. 2011, sorry, 2011. I like the remake so much better. I actually, to be honest, could not make it through the original Fright Night. I saw the remake first, which can, of course, influence your reaction to something. It's the first time you're seeing the story, or at least the setting. But I actually loved it. I thought it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed the cast. Everyone in the cast was great. Like, that is so, everyone in that cast was so much fun, and it was unnerving, and I didn't know the story, and I don't know if the stories are completely aligned, so I enjoyed some surprises in the story, and there was some humor in it, and just everything for that one worked for me. The 1985 version, when I went to watch it afterwards, I didn't enjoy it at all, and I ended up DNFing it, which it's do not finish in book terms, that's what we say. So yeah, yeah, yeah. Halloween 1978 versus 2007. This lets me know that this tag is probably from a while ago, because didn't we have another Halloween like last year? Anyway, which is fine. Old tags are good. I like all tags. 1978, without question, Halloween is one of my favorite movies. I just, like, in terms of horror, I still find it creepy. I think I watched the Halloween series in one of my, I think in the first 31 Days of Horror that I did. And I actually quite did not enjoy the 2007 version, but even so, Halloween, it would be hard to beat it on a list of like even 70s, 80s horror movies, just in that list. So yeah, 1978, without question. Number 9, The Hills Have Eyes, 1977 versus 2006. Okay, I'm going to turn this one into a question, because I haven't seen either of these. And I did some light searching for the original film, and I always end up finding The Hills Have Eyes too. So is the original film really hard to find, or I don't know, I'll be honest, I don't even know if I searched Amazon, but I searched a bunch of services, and like The Hills Have Eyes 2 showed up, but not the original. So I don't know. On that one, I really do not know, but I would definitely always start with the original, so that is on my to-watch list. It's a definite blind spot in terms of horror films for me. I'm very surprised I haven't seen it. 10, The Hitcher, 1986 versus 2007. I actually did not realize that they remade The Hitcher, and I'm not entirely sure that I watched the original Hitcher. So let me know, does it still hold up over time? Because I would love to add it to my blind spot of list. I remember seeing it at, at the rental places for sure, and I think it was one that probably was one that was not ever rented because it was known as a gory horror movie, although I saw lots of horror movies as a kid, but that one always got vetoed for some reason or another, I think. So yeah, so I can't pick on that one. Number 11, House of Wax, 1953 versus 2005. I am not 100% confident I saw the 2005 one, but I did see the 1953 one, and it's great. Even though the 3D is really in your face, like hilariously in your face, I still enjoyed it as a movie, so 1953 for me. 12, The House on Haunted Hill, 1959 versus 1999. Okay, so I'm assuming that we're actually talking about the Vincent Price one as opposed to The Haunting, because The Haunting... Oh, so this is House on Haunted Hill and House on Haunted Hill. Oh, right, okay. So Vincent Price versus... Oh my gosh, who is the guy? I think he's Australian. Okay, Vincent Price. Is there a question? Is there a question? Vincent Price. I have seen them both, but the second one, the remake, not so much. Okay, 13, I Spit on Your Grave, 1978 versus 2010. I actually have only seen the 2010 version. I saw it at Toronto After Dark. It was a very intense situation. I wasn't sure if I was even going to watch it. It definitely goes into themes that I am not really interested in and definitely not comfortable with. But it is such an iconic movie that I thought I was also being a completist. I wanted to see everything at the festival that year. So I do think that the 2010 film is well done. It definitely has challenges. There's no way to say it. Trigger warnings. If you have any trigger warnings, you probably do not want to watch that movie. But yeah, if you have issue with any trigger warnings, you do not want to watch that movie. But I think it was actually a pretty well done film. So I'm going to go with 2010 because that is the one I've seen. Last House on the Left, 1972 to 2009. This follows along with the same themes, from what I understand. I have not seen either of them. I probably will not see either of them. There's lots of other horror movies to get to before these sort of more revengey, like, attacking women movies. So low low priority. Veto. No answer for that one. Number 15, My Bloody Valentine, 1981 versus 2009. Okay, so this one's challenging because I'm trying to remember which one I watched first. I think I watched the 1981 version. I think I bought it and watched it on DVD and then watched the 2009. And that was funny that year because there was horror movies that one starred Jared Padalecki with the Friday the 13th, and then My Bloody Valentine starred Jensen Ackles, and they're both from Supernatural, and they both were in remakes of horror movies from the 80s, so it's just kind of funny. Anyway, the original is better. It is very gory. It is very gory, but that's right. The DVD I had, it was hilarious because the film was restored, but the scenes that were like super extra gory that were taken out because they were pushed the envelope were put back in, but they were not restored. So it was a bit of a strange viewing experience. Also, the remake was in 3D and I don't see in 3D, so I went to see it to test if I could see in 3D, but I could only see stuff that was directly at the camera. Just that. Everything else, nope. Okay, keep on keeping on. 16, Night of the Living Dead, 1968 versus 1990. I don't think I've seen the 1990 version, so 1968. Also, 1968 is such a classic. And it's one of those ones that was influential and important, and and slightly accidentally, I think. Sometimes the fact that how much it has come into pop culture I don't think could be expected. So I can't imagine voting against it ever. So 1968. Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984 versus 2010. 1984. I have so many oddly good memories of watching not only that film, but the film series, mostly 1 and 3. I love 3. I love 3. I have not seen it in years, but I love Nightmare on Elm Street 3. But yeah, and I thought the new one, I was not as harsh about it as other people. I did enjoy it as a horror film, but I did feel, and to be fair, this might ruffle some feathers. The original film is not great. It is not great. There are some pacing things that are strange. There are some lines that I find laughable, but it also is scary, and it's a really scary idea. But it's not a perfect film. So, but it is better than the original, or it is better than the remake. So I'm going with the original. Okay, next up is The Omen, 1976 versus 2006. I'm not sure that I saw the remake, but the original is really creepy. The original is really creepy. I don't think any 70s horror film is not gonna win out of the options. So 1976. I also read the book, which is a novelization. I think I read that last October, and it was creepy, but it was, you know. Anyway, but it was a novelization. So anyway, so number 19 is Poltergeist, 1982 versus 2015, 1982. That is one of the scariest movies of all time. Just, yeah. I saw the remake. I thought it wasn't that bad, but like I thought it was okay. It was an enjoyable horror movie, but it really, I don't know what it is about Poltergeist, but it's so iconic and it's so scary. And I probably saw it when I was extremely young. And I think that it was centered on a family and in a family home, and it felt like possible even though impossible and all that stuff. Oh my gosh, I'm getting scared just thinking about it. 1982. Number 20, Psycho, 1960 versus 1998. I will leave a list below in case I get any of the years wrong, but I will leave a list below. So we're looking at the original Psycho, 1960 versus 1998. I actually haven't seen the remake. I actually remember hearing about it when it came out and people talking about how it was pretty much the exact same movie, and I never sort of understood the point. So if I do like a Psycho rewatch, catch up, like it's every 31 Days of Horror, I do pick a film series to focus on. So if I choose Psycho one year, I will watch it. But yeah, nothing's gonna hold the candle till 1961. It is still creepy. This one I actually finally did see both movies. The Stepfather, 1987 to 2009. This is a weird one where I saw the remake first, and it was pretty good, but the original, sorry about that. The original is super creepy, and I love, is it Terry Terry O'Quinn. He was on Lost, and he is the stepfather, and he's so good, and he's so creepy. So yeah, the original is making it for that one. Next up, I'm just going to bear with as I make sure there's no more interruptions. So we are now going to 22, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 1974 to 2003. I never saw the remake, and I actually only saw the original semi-recently, like within the last 10 years. I can't imagine anything outdoing that movie. It was horrifying. I was so scared, so I'm going with the original, regardless of not seeing the remake. Number 23, When a Stranger Calls, 1979 versus 2006. I actually did not realize that there was a remake for this one, and I am again going with the original, the 1979 version. I still find 70s horror, man. I still find it really creepy. It was the first time I had seen that idea, and I was like, what? I don't know if it would hold up now. Actually, I'd be curious to see the remake just because tech is so different. And it has so much to do with the phones, and we've had so many horror movies that are contemporary talking about phones, and it's almost rarely scary. It's very rarely scary, so I don't know if they did anything different. Let me know. Have you seen the 2006 version? Is it worth checking out? And even now that's 13 years ago, so phones were nowhere near where they are now. Okay, 23, Carrie, 1976 versus 2013. 1976, like no question, even though, again, I have not seen the remake. 1976 Carrie is one of the scariest movies ever, so it wins. It wins! The Fly, 1958 versus 1986. I am not 100% sure that I've seen the original, but I find the 1986 version very creepy, and Jeff Goldblum, so it gets my vote, even if I haven't seen the original. I think I have. I think I went back and watched most of the 50s horror I missed at some point. And I'm still picking the 86 version. Oh, creeps me out. Oh yeah, just thinking about it creeps me out. No, it wins. Next up is Prom Night, 1980 versus 2008. Oh, I'm going to go with 1980, but I don't think I ever watched the 2008. It was at a project list at some point to watch it. And the original I thought was good, but it wasn't great. But I'm still going with the original. It 2000. Oh, how can you include it? Okay, so it from 1990 versus 2017. I'm just vetoing that because the new one is part 1 of 2, so how can you vote for half of one thing? And the original is a mini-series. So I'm vetoing. I'm not answering. I enjoyed both of them, to be honest. I know the 90s version is not great, but it was one of those things, like seeing it at the time, and everyone in my family read the book, and the book was so scary. I have so many memories wrapped up in the whole experience of it that regardless of the fact that the original miniseries isn't great, it makes no difference to me. I don't care because it's wrapped up in so much else. So they both win. And the second one, as in my opinion, is disqualified because the second part isn't out yet. I can't wait to see it. And a bonus one is The Mummy, 1932, 1999, and 2017. I've actually only seen the 1932 version, so it gets my vote. Oh, I might have seen the 1999. I'm not a fan. I think I saw one of the third ones. The third one, The Curse of the Emperor something. They're not my thing. And the new one, it actually did pop up on Netflix, so I will watch it. So, but yeah, so the original. Wow, there was less that I thought that I had answers for. Oh my gosh, let's start that sentence again, shall we? I thought I would have seen more where I had seen both of the two films. So maybe it would have been worth doing some prep work on this one. But I decided to do it rapid fire, and here we are 20 minutes later. Yeah. Let me know, do you generally like the original more than the remake? Can you remain subjective over films that you have a strong reaction to? I don't know if we even can. I was actually very happy to see that some of the remakes were my choices, and to give some variety there. And I do like going back and watching the original movie before a remake comes out and doing the whole compare and contrast or criticize or nitpick or whatever, however you like to term such things. Because I love rewatching movies. Yeah, so let me know what your favorite original is and what your favorite remake is, and you know, whether or not you tend to watch remakes, or do you think sometimes, you know, we don't need to do that? There's a lot that I feel like are superfluous. But the one big one actually wasn't on the list. The Swedish vampire movie. You know what I'm talking about. All right, so that's it for this tag. If you want to do this tag and you have not done this tag, feel free to consider your self tag. Questions and links will be down below for you to enjoy. Thanks so much for watching.